Do you feel like you're way better than your rank, but you keep losing? Well, maybe it's because you haven't chosen the right role. Choosing the right role is very important, especially for solo queuing. So that's why I will rank all roles from worst to best. Also a little disclaimer, sometimes you will have to pick worse roles because there's 4 people playing like an AWP, for example. So these are not rules, these are more like guidelines. Starting with the worst role, in-game leader. Have you ever tried in-game leading while solo queuing? It's impossible. People will not listen to you, they will probably tell you to shut up. The reason in-game leader is so bad is that a bad plan that everybody follows is better than a good plan that nobody follows. But if you are queued up with 4 other people, in-game leader is a very good role for carrying. But most of your games are probably not a 5-stack, so whatever you do, don't try to in-game lead. The next worst role is lurker. So why is lurker so bad, you might ask? If your team is just getting wrecked, you're just baiting instead of lurking. This is the biggest problem with lurking. But on the other hand, you can win so many rounds from lurking. If you have a high game sense and you can peek at the perfect moment to wide open a bomb site, lurking can be so much impact. This is what people like Robs have built their entire career on. But you're probably not Robs, so you'll just end up baiting. So I wouldn't recommend playing lurker. Next up is anchor. This role has the same problem as lurker. If your team is getting wrecked, you're doing nothing. But at least you can save to boost your stats, so that's good. But I think this role is map dependent. For example, being anchor on Mirage A side is so much impact. So in those cases I would recommend anchor. Just wanna avoid the shitty anchor roles like B on Mirage. If you're playing shitty anchor roles, you might only have 2 rounds in a game where you actually have impact. So I do recommend anchor, but only the good anchor spots. Now we are getting into the good roles, where we will start with support. Might be asking, how does this role have impact? Isn't it like anchor and lurker where you have no impact? And you would think that is the case, except for when you are support, you are most likely the 4th or the 3rd person going into a bomb site. Meaning you get to clean up and be in all the clutches. And clutches is where you will have the real impact. Because getting 2 entries will most likely win you the round. But winning a clutch will guarantee you win you a round. And support is probably the best role in the game for clutching. Also, I'm probably biased because I used to be a support, but you know, it's my list. Now for our 3rd place we have entry fragger. This is pretty obvious why this role is so good. If you get 3 entries, you probably win the round. But a problem you might have with this role is you will probably have games where you get like 20 kills in a half and then other games where you get 1 kill in a half. Entry fragger is very inconsistent, but it is very good for hard carrying your team. If you're really better than the opponents, you will get like 30 kills every game entry fragging. Also, what makes this role extra good is that in matchmaking or face it, nobody goes in first, cause they're too scared. Now to our 2nd best role, it's the aggressive rifler. On T side, you're basically the cleanup guy. Because the CTs will be focused on the entry frag, you can just shoot both of them. And because of how this role works, you'll even be in most clutches. On the CT side, you're the one taking the duels to the Ts, so it doesn't really matter if your team sucks if you get 2 or 3 openings every single round. The only problem with this role is, if the enemies are better than you won't have a good time. You definitely need to be the best player on the server when you play aggressive rifle. Other than that, there's no downsides, you should definitely play this role. Now for the best role, we have the top fragger. You almost wanna be the top fragger. The best role in the game to carry is definitely AWPer. On CT side, if you're good with the AWP, the Ts can do nothing. I bet you tried a million times where your team can't do anything, they're just getting shut down by the AWPer. This can and should be you, but there's a few downsides to the AWP. The first is, it's very expensive. Second is, AWPing on T side on most maps are probably not ideal. Trying to retake with AWP is almost impossible. So this is where I'm gonna cheat a little. If you really want to rank up, you should probably play AWP on CT and aggressive rifler on T side. This is the real strategy to carry more games. If you enjoyed this video, you'll probably also enjoy my ranking all weapons tier list that you can watch by clicking on the screen right here. Goodbye.